Hello, everyone. Good evening. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to share. I need to share my screen. So, as I read one, I think I need access to that. It's currently disabled.
Ben, this is your night. You require serious work.
Okay. Hi, Ridwan. I think I need access to be able to share my screen. Okay, so please give us a few minutes to sort that out. Please, you can unmute. You can mute yourself to reduce the background noise. Okay. So we'll need like some few minutes to get the setup properly. So we'll start very soon. So please, when you join, kindly mute yourself. All right. Hi, so I'm sharing my screen. Please, can you confirm if you can see my screen?
Yes, we can see.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so I'm going to walk you through what we have for today. Okay, so this is, I think, the fourth session we'll be having. So we thought it is good we have like a brief intro to some of the design tools that we have. I'm sure this is what almost everyone is waiting for, but so in the coming sessions, also we have plans to also look through the for example, you've gone through the user research stage. You've used different methodologies. You've gathered insight from users. Transforming all of those insight into product features and making decisions out of it. We have a session for that. But for this session, we want to look at some of the visual design tools that we have in the industry. And we also quickly touch on the different levels of fidelity. We started with the low fidelity one in previous sessions we've had. We'll take a look at the other ones and when you want to use them. It's just going to be for some few minutes, and then we'll take a lot of time working through Figma, which is one of the tools, the tools that sorry, okay, it's like the industry standard. And there are other tools too, so I'm very careful when I mean industry standard. We have other industry standard software or tools that you can use. We have Sketch, we have other ones as we will see. So yeah, so let's get started. Okay, so I wanted to so I have the logo of some of them here, but I had plans to just take you through some of their websites, so you look at some of these, we look at some of them together. So this is Sketch. Sketch is one of the design tools that most designers use to create high fidelity stuff. Some designers use it for maybe low fidelity to mid fidelity to high fidelity, depending on how good you are with the tool. So in previous sessions that we've had, we've seen Ridwan showing us how to create some of this low fidelity, not some of this that you're seeing on your screen. These are high fidelity stuff. I mean, the low fidelity one on using Miro, some designers can just move straight to Sketch and create it from there. Again, depending on how efficient you are with the tool. So Sketch has its pros, it has its cons, the advantage and the disadvantage. So one of the biggest disadvantage of a tool like Sketch is it runs on Mac, and not everybody uses Mac. So that is where most of the challenge is. So based on your situation, you can decide on what tool you want to work with. Yeah, so you are not. So the good thing about the design industry is you are not stuck with one tool. You can switch from one tool to the other, and believe me, most of the learning curve is. I mean, when you learn one tool, you can transfer all of the knowledge from one tool to the other. So the only thing you probably learn in different design tool is maybe the naming. For example, they call something layers here. They might call it another name in another design tool. But the fundamental principles, the way things work, the structure and everything is mostly the same thing. So don't be, because in this session, we'll go through Figma. So don't be too tied to just Figma alone, that, oh, what if I want to learn Adobe XD, I want to learn Sketch, I want to learn that stuff. Yeah, it's not a problem. When you learn one tool, you can use this, you can transfer the same knowledge into other tools. So that's just a summary of what I want to talk about. So we have other ones like, okay, Figma, which is what we'll go into shortly. We have Protofi. So I use Protofi. Okay, maybe I should show you that. I use Protofi. Okay, so this is Protofi. So Protofi is paid, but you can use it for you can use it for like a month. Yeah, so when you like it, you can decide to pay for a monthly subscription, which I don't think you really need as long as you have Figma, but I just want you to know all of the tools out there that you can use. So this is a Protofi, and the cool thing with Protofi is, and I think Figma too has the same thing, where you can test some of your designs right on your mobile phone. So if you're using an Android, you can download their app, and then you would have this prototype playing right on your phone. You can interact with it real life. Yeah, I think Figma too has one. Okay. So if you have questions, we still have the Q&A session where we answer your questions. So if you look at what I'm showing to you right now, this is just prototype. I mean, nobody, this is not written with code, nothing. There's no code backing this stuff up. You can do all of this right with Prototype. And then so because I mean, with stuff like this now, you've saved a lot of time, development time. Nobody's developing anything. You can do the back and forth between yourself as the product designer and the people that owns the product. Okay, why is the chat bubble like this? Oh, we should change it. So you can do all of that right on the design phase. Then when you are now done, you can give all of your work to the engineering team to start development. So those are like the benefit of all these advanced prototyping tools like Prototype. So we also have some like this Azure. I don't know if that's no, I'm not sure that's the pronunciation because we have the normal, we have the Microsoft Azure, or maybe it's, I don't know what the pronunciation. So they have, all of them have this 30 days free trial. So what I would recommend is if you really want to try any of these tools in the future, you can try them with one of your accounts and see if it works. I mean, if you like it, but I wouldn't recommend you paying for stuff if you really don't know how to use it. So yeah, so that's that. And then we have other examples. Okay, I used to use this tool before, but I stopped using it when I discovered the Prototype, the one I showed you earlier. So with this stuff, you can do the same thing. I mean, you can prototype stuff, show gestures of how you want your app to interact, all of that. Like you can do a lot of stuff with these tools, right? Yeah. So you have that. And yeah, so for advanced stuff, designers use After Effects. So After Effects is like, the learning curve is really for me. So I don't know for anyone on this call, you can pick it up and learn it in few weeks or months. But for me, I found this super difficult. Till today, I still don't know how to use it. I have it on my system, but I can't use it. But yeah, so but I would advise you start with maybe Adobe XD, the likes of Figma. Adobe XD is missing in this. So you can try with start with any of these. Believe me, anything you learn here, you can use it in any of these other tools. So that's that about that. And then we also have Framer. So Framer used to be very code heavy before. I don't know the site. So Framer used to be very you need to know how to write React. So okay, I need to move on. So you need to know how to write React. You need to know the basis of code and stuff like that before you can use Framer initially. But now they moved to now it's totally you have the design option, and then if you want to write code, you can do all of that. So and one thing about all of this site that I'm listing is that if you check through their blogs, their resources, believe you me, you learn a lot about product design. Like most of these, like Framer, Prototype, Principle, all of these sites that I've listed, they have tons of resources that can really help you in this design journey. I use them a lot. I mean, like I use all of these tools a lot. I just go to their blog section. There's a topic I want to know. I just click through how to become a better web designer in 2021. I click through and just read through what their opinion is. I can take the opinion, and I might not take the opinion if I see a better argument in some other blogs, like what I do here. Maybe I have this. There's this popular site that I feel every one of us here should be on. There's Dribble, and then there's Behance. So on Dribble, you can see a lot of inspiration. You can see, please don't be intimidated with all of this. Like I can't make all of the designs here, to be very honest. I can't do all of them because some of them are very advanced. And then they didn't create it with just one tool. They use probably multiple tools, but it starts giving you ideas about, oh, I can get to this level. You click on, like, for example, you like this. Of course, it's not everything that developers can implement, but I mean, you just want to improve yourself, your designs and everything. You can look at the short details and look at some of the tools that, okay, some people write the tools that they use to create stuff like this. So for example, if I see that they create stuff like this with Protofi, I mean, that was how I learned about Protofi too. Like, oh, this guy used Protofi to create something like this. Oh, I picked it up and I start learning how to use it for my designs too. So and stuff like this are also very good for a product designer. And again, it is not all the designs here that developers can implement. So I want you to know that as back on. But I think Dribble has like a lot of, I mean, it challenges you when it comes to the visual part of things, visual part of the product. And yeah, and you can take so much inspiration from it, like it's like a challenge, like, oh, look at this clean UI. How can my design get to something like this or even better? And then you can begin to look at, I think there's a place where you can pick some of the colors they use here. I mean, like today is not all about looking at Dribble. I think that okay, I didn't plan this on this call. So there's a way you can like stuff. Obviously, you can save designs, and then you can also okay, I think there's a way you can look at some of the colors that was used to create this, and maybe you reuse them in your own file. Like you need this color, you can pick all of that here, or maybe just install an extension here on Chrome and just use it to select. So for example, I think I'm just going to quickly see if I have one here. So I have this color picker. So I think that there's a better way to this really, but if you need maybe some of these colors, you can just over on this place and it shows you the color code, and you can copy this color code and use in your own design file. But Dribble has a way to get some of this color code, but I can't figure it out right now. Okay, so what I mean, the reason why I took us through those sites is there are resources there, there are blogs, there are stuff there, there are even templates that you can download for free. They just give you all of those things for free that you can use. Before I move away from this topic, I'd also mention that sometimes I just go to stuff like maybe Facebook design. I just want to see how your design is, and then you'll be surprised to see a lot of free resources that they give out to people, and they don't. They're not asking for money or pay, whatever. So you can just download some of these devices and use it in your product or in your designs. You can download some of these mockups. You can read through some of their blog. Facebook owns this design too. So it's not part of the ones I listed called Origami. It's also used for designing like Figma and all of those things. It's owned by Facebook, and you can also learn it if you want. It is completely free, right? So someone is asking a question, he's raising his hand, so I'm going to unmute you to ask. Or you can unmute yourself. No.
Hello, sir. Good evening, sir.
Okay. Good evening, sir.
Yes, sir. There is no on the call.
Okay. Yeah.
Sir, I just want, as you are making introduction, can you please make introduction on Adobe SD, please?
Oh, yes.
It seems like you just...
I added it here, so maybe I'm just going to show you too. Yeah. So we have Adobe SD. So
okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So we have Adobe XD, right? So this is, I mean, they all do the same thing. It's both for designing and for prototyping. And yeah, so I mean, you can go through their website and take a look at it. Like I said in this call, I mean, initially we'll go through Figma. So everything you learn, I'll walk you through in Figma. You can apply most of the same learnings in Adobe XD. We don't have all of the time to go through Adobe XD. So
Okay, but is it free, sir?
Adobe XD is free. It's completely free.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, so I should talk about this. So some people, because you pay for Photoshop, you pay for what's the name, all of this Adobe software. I think the only free stuff, I mean, as far as I know, and as far as I can remember, the only free stuff in Adobe product is actually Adobe SD. You don't need any license, you don't need anything to use it, it's completely free. Maybe I should confirm that also, but I know Adobe SD is free. Yeah, it's absolutely free, yeah. So you can install it and use, but for me, from what I have seen so far in the industry, most companies are using Figma. And so learning to use Figma is like an advantage to you. You can learn the Adobe XD2 on the side, and then you can use that for maybe your personal project. But most big companies I have seen now, they use Figma, and I'll tell you why when we start going through it. So I quickly wanted to talk about, okay, I think there's another question. Oh yeah, someone saying Adobe Portfolio is also free, yeah. So maybe, I think portfolio is like, if you want to create your portfolio, I mean, from the name, because Adobe is always very straight to the point with the way they name their product. So yeah, you can download Adobe Portfolio to create your portfolio or whatever that is used for. It's also free. So please don't be scared that, oh, when they mention Adobe, I used to be very scared when they mention Adobe. It's all about money. So, but they have free stuff too that you can use. Okay. Okay, so I want to talk about different levels of fidelity, and then we'll try to create some of them in Figma. After we've done like the walkthrough of Figma, we'll try to create some of these screens together on this call. Okay, so what is fidelity in UI? I mean, Ridwan already took us through some of this when we started in previous sessions that we've had. So it's like the design fidelity is just about the level of details that you want to build into your prototype, or maybe the functionality you want to have inside of it. So the low one, you can strip it of too much details, and then when you move to the medium, you add more details. When you move to the high one, you add more details. So this definition was from just in mind. You can, I mean, I'm going to say this slide also after this call. You can read more about this, about what they mean by that. So I took this screenshot from that just in mind website. No, I took it from this site rather. I've referenced them here. So we have the low fidelity, the mid fidelity, the high fidelity. I won't be talking too much about the low fidelity, but I want us to create this mid fidelity and high fidelity. We just try and replicate these two UI with Figma. I mean, after walking us through what Figma is all about, I want us to recreate this, and then you see how I do it. I mean, I've not designed this before, so you see how I'm going to do it from the beginning. I'm going to make a lot of mistakes, and I probably not achieve the same thing that I have here. So, so this is real life. Like, this is real design. And in fact, you might probably be the one to correct me, like, oh, this is not right, you should do it this way. I just wanted to know how it is done. Many of you are already doing that already, because I know some of us are already designers. But I'll try and replicate this design. I'm not promising you guys that I'll look for the same icons, but I'm going to look for something very close. And in that way, I hope I'll be able to talk through some of the things, the tools or plugins or whatever things that we use for the designs in Figma. I hope that will be very helpful. So, okay, so so you use low fidelity to test ideas and basic sketches. So all of these are also useful when you during your research stages, when you're making research, when you want to test with people just to get to validate your idea. For example, you show whoever you are interviewing this kind of sketch, and like, oh, round trip, there's one way. I mean, this is a flight application from, to, departure, return, other tourists, whatever. So you can use all of these. Like it doesn't cost you anything to, I mean, it doesn't cost you money. You don't even have to invest in any design software or whatever. So please, so I think my last class was not that interactive. So I don't know if you have any questions, please. I mean, we've started that already. Feel free to ask me a question. You can raise your hand. I hope I see it here. And then I'm going to allow you to talk, right? Okay. So low fidelity, again, I'll quickly talk to you about this. So you want to use this one when you don't require too many details. You don't want to be focused on the colors. You don't want to do too much stuff. Like you just want to sketch out the idea from your head. And sorry, I need to confirm. Can you see my screen and you can see what I'm presenting, the low fidelity stuff? It feels like I'm only talking to myself. So.
Yes, I can see your screen.
Oh, okay, thank you. So you want to use that. I mean, this will help give a lot of direction to your design, how your design will actually look. And when you are getting to something like this, you are beginning to refine your design a bit more better, you are making it more pleasant, right? So you can do like a lot of different stuff here, like change. Okay, I don't want the passenger. I don't want the what's in the tourist class and the business class. I don't want them here. You can move it up because at the end of the day, you can change all of that here. I mean, I know you get what I mean. You don't want to invest too much time on like maybe something like this where you probably do a lot of redesigns. Trust me, it can be very, very don't let me use the word frustrating. It can be very, very tiring when you keep redesigning the same thing. So you want to use these two steps very well, I mean, to your advantage. Yeah. Okay. So okay. Okay, so I think I'm done with that. So then the next thing is I need to walk you through Figma. So now this is Figma. I don't know if we have account on Figma. So this is figma.com. So okay, it's going to open my account. So I need to open it from a different place. So I just want to show you like the home page. So the reason why it's showing me, maybe I should explain that because it can be very confusing. Figma allows you to work from anywhere. You can work from the web. For example, if you don't, so this is if you look at this application here, this is like the mobile, the desktop app. But Figma, the purpose, the reason why they created Figma was that they want everybody to be able to use it anywhere. You can use it on your web, you can use it on your desktop. In fact, the way Figma works, if you have internet with Figma and you put Figma on, if you put off your data, your internet, you can keep on working, you can keep on designing, and Figma is still going to work like, as if it's working, I mean, it's like an offline application. And then when you are done, you can put on your data and then it will sync it will put all your design back online. I hope you get the idea. So that was their intention. They want everyone to be able to design wherever they are. So that's why most companies now, they are using industry, because now people are working remotely. People work from Africa, from Asia, from everywhere. Some people have bad internet and stuff like that. So aside the collaborative feature of Figma, it's also very good in terms of maybe people that have bad internet. I mean, from personal experience too, think that's one of the reasons why Figma is also good. The same thing too applies for Sketch and other ones, but for now I think Figma is a good one. So Ngozi, you have a question, you can go.
Yes, good evening.
Good
Please,
evening.
just for clarification's sake, wireframing and low fidelity, are they the same thing?
Yeah, like they are the same. So they use them interchangeably. So yeah, like I mean, if someone is saying I need you to create wireframe, so it's either something like this. I mean, what they actually mean is like mid fidelity or even low fidelity. I mean, when they say wireframe, you can ask them, oh, do you want low fidelity one? Should I just sketch it out, or do you want something more refined like this? Yeah, so it's basically, I mean, wireframe just means any of this.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So, okay. Okay, so I wanted to walk us through like the own page of Figma. So I was explaining the other time that when I opened Figma here, because I have my account signed in, so it's just going to show me my own dashboard, the files I've opened before, stuff I've done on the application before. For example, I have some things here and all of that. So if you face the same situation, just open an incognito browser or whatever if you want to see the homepage of Figma. Yeah, because sometimes I'm like, I have never seen their homepage before. Yeah, so it's very good. The benefit of Figma is it's very good for collaboration, as you will see while we are working through it. I don't know. I think I should ask if we have Figma account. I mean, maybe just signify by saying yes on on the chat. If you don't already, you should have a Figma account now, so you can use or just play around with it. And it's very easy to set up. It's free. You can try Figma for free. So when you want to sign up, it asks you for your email and your password, and then you create an account. You can use it on Windows laptop. You can use it on Mac. You can use it anywhere. So that is that about that. And you can see this stuff here. So multiple people can work on the same single file in real time. Okay, so I'm just going to open, let me go to the desktop. So this is my desktop. And as you can see, so this is my desktop app. I have another account logged in here. And then on the web, I have another account logged in here. And then I can maybe open a Safari or another browser and also have another account open there. So, I mean, like if I'm saying that because maybe you're a freelancer and then maybe you have two different businesses that you're working with, you can have, and maybe they have like, you have your account tied to your company or the organization already. You can still use your one laptop to have multiple accounts, and then it's free. So there's a lot of free stuff in product design, people. So let me go to the desktop app. So I wanted to use this one because this one has a few jargons, few files open. So by default, when you create a new account, you have all of these Figma basics, wireframing in Figma, prototyping in Figma. Yeah, so you have that. So that's easy. I mean, this is how it looks. You can close out stuff you don't want. You can close this, and then you can create. You have this create design file. There's a new product they just launched. It was in beta stage before. It's called FigJam. FigJam is like a brainstorming session. In fact, it's very useful for stuff like whiteboarding. The same thing. I mean, Mr. Ridwan showed us on Miro. You can do everything here with this same FigJam. But I'm not going to go through that. You can go through all of that at your leisure time. I mean, when you have time, you can check it, and you can just decide to use. I'll recommend you use Miro for now because we already started with that, and it's super easy to use also. And then they have this option for people who are using Sketch. For example, you used to work with Sketch in the past, and now your company is now using Figma. You can import stuff from Sketch, and you have all of those files still in Figma. So I mean, yeah. So even if you have like maybe stuff saved in .fig file somewhere, maybe you have it on your hard drive, you can still import that file too and use it straight in the file. So I mean, when you interact with these tools very well, you know more about it, and I know some of us already know a lot about it. So most of the new projects you created, you create on Figma goes to draft by default, and you can move it to your team. Like if you have a team, you can move it away from draft to your project or whatever. But I mean, you shouldn't be bothered too much about all of the files, whatever folder structure and all those things in Figma, because mostly you are just really concerned about, you are mostly concerned about the UI, designing stuff and getting stuff done. So I'm just going to click, okay, I should talk about the community also. So the community is where you want to, I mean, you want to play a lot here. You want to really, really spend, just, I mean, when you are bored, just come to this, I'm just going to do something else. Just click this. Okay, this is install. I don't want to install any plugin now. I should go back. I mean, you can go to files that people have created. You see companies that have created a lot of, and you can just click. For example, this is an EdTech learning app UI. So this guy just what? He designed something like this and he's giving it out for free for people to see. Sometimes it's just like a teaser. They make the free ones for you to use, and then they tell you to go and buy the remaining on UI. For me, it's still a win-win situation. Most of the time what I do is, if I'm on the community side, I duplicate stuff from there. So when you duplicate stuff, you are not touching the original file from the person. It will create a version of it in your own draft. So you can just come here and play with a lot of stuff and look at how stuff is, how they design stuff, and okay, and then I can, okay, now these are strings. Like these are just, if you look at the logo here, these are just images, right? So the guy doesn't want you to come and he doesn't want you to see how he wrote this text and whatever. So he just use a screenshot and he wants you to buy it. So well, that doesn't that's not a big deal. But I mean, I just wanted to show you that you can look through stuff and see how stuff are done. You can, if you need an icon like this in your own files, you can copy and you can paste it in your own file. You need an avatar, you can come here and pay, and these are all completely free in Figma community. We have a question. Okay, so I need to mute my WhatsApp. Okay, okay, so okay, so like I said, that community is where you want to spend some time and look at stuff. Yeah, so to create a new design file, so you can click on this. So I think there are multiple options. You can click on this, and then you can come to this. Okay, because I'm using a Mac, you have this like the menu bar at the top where you can create new files. So, but for most people, you should have something like this, new design file. Okay, let me mute some people. Okay. Okay, so this is how your interface looks like generally. You have this the layer panel, you have the asset panel. And so here, for the asset panel, you have all of your components. We'll talk briefly about components and a little bit of design system also on this call. So, and then you have your multiple pages, like you can create multiple pages for stuff. Okay, you can say this page is just about, this page is the sign-in page. This one is the sign-up page. this is this, you can name them, whatever you want to name them, and you can always drag stuff here. So you have like your, this is like the menu. You have the menu listed here, and then you have this bar, this tab bar that shows the name of your document. So you can always rename stuff here. So what I did was double click. I just double click here. I mean, you trust me, you probably not get everything I'm trying to say here until you start interacting with Figma yourself. Then you see all of these things, and then you can click on this arrow and rename stuff, or you can export stuff. I'm still going to talk about all of this stuff. So instead of double clicking, I can rename it and say Figma. I mean, you can call it anything you want to, and then because like I said earlier, it's always inside your drafts. If you have like a team that you're working with, you can always move stuff from draft to your team, but we don't want to be bothered about that for now. So to the right, you have all of these. You have your toolbar. I think this is the toolbar at the top, and then you have your another panel to the left where you have the design, the prototype, and then inspect. So this one is very useful for when you start talking to engineers, when you want to give them your files or your design files. So I want to quickly take a look at, okay, if you click on the arrow, anytime you see arrow here on Figma, it shows that there's more stuff that you can take a look at. I mean, I won't go through everything right now, but there are more stuff that you can look at. So to start with, when you want to start designing stuff, so this is like the empty canvas where you'll be doing most of it. In fact, mostly all your designs, excuse me. And then you want to make sure that you are on the design tab when you are here. So the first thing you want to do is you want to draw your frame. So here is frame, and then when you hover over anything in Figma, there's always this shortcut that shows you what it means, like most design tools. Yeah, so for people that are here, I should say this again, that you want to learn Adobe XD, you want to learn other ones, it is fine. You can learn it, and you will find out that everything we are doing here is almost the same. You will see in all our design tools. So, and knowing Figma is like a very good advantage for you, especially in the design system. If you go and check job description, you see them listing it, you have the knowledge of Figma, you know Adobe XD, and none of that. And also, I should say this, most times, let's say you know how to use Figma only, like Figma is the only tool you've ever worked with. And then in the job description, they are telling you, you should be able to use Adobe XD. Trust me, tell them you can use it. You don't need more than one night. One night, just sit with Adobe XD. You already know Adobe XD, right? I mean, some people can say I'm wrong, but for me, it's not, they're almost the same thing, really. So if you want to draw anything, you can draw shapes, of course, but mostly because you'll be working with a device. So, you can draw shapes, you can decide to put all your drawings here, but basically that's not what you're doing when you're designing for stuff. You want to design in a frame, and then so you have this frame where you have for phones, different kind of phone selection, Android, whatever, iPhone. You have the same thing for tablets, desktop, presentations, whatever. Anything you need to design, you can just come and pick the templates here and then you use it. So okay, I think I wanted us to design stuff like this. So I'm just going to make a screenshot of this. I'm going to make a screenshot of this. And then I'm going to copy it here. So, we'll do this, and then we'll do the other screen. So let me keep these two here. I say we will try. You have a take-home assignment for this, so please ask as many questions you want to ask me on this call. So I'm trying to get to see if I can. I'll rush through so many things here and see if I can get maybe if I can get maybe 3, 4, 5 people where we design together, and we'll redesign one of these screens together on this call. So one person will do the top, one person will do the bottom or whatever. I mean, just show you the collaborative part of this thing. Okay, so yeah, when you click on the frame, you have all of everything here, and then you have your move to. So if you want to move stuff here, if I click on that V, and then that's the shortcut B, I can use it to click on it and drag anything anywhere. I can use V to expand or reduce stuff, and then you can undo to, I mean, like normal stuff, you can undo stuff, Control Z, or if you don't remember that, you can come to edit and use any of this, undo, redo. Yeah, and then you have a lot of stuff here too. So if you look at this, there's another option called K. I mean, I just want to quickly touch through everything. I hope it makes sense. So when you're using this kind of tool, you see the differences. So if you try to scale stuff, like it makes it bigger and everything becomes bigger all at once compared to this other tool. I don't think you should be bothered about that. I mean, if you look at this tool, it's not expanding into proportion. You find it very useful at some point. Yeah, but when you start using it, you know how to use it very well. So I'm just going to keep this 2 on the page 2. So I'm going to go back to the first page. So like this pages is like you can use one file to create as many pages as possible. So so here you have all the toolbox. You can use to draw stuff, and you notice something. Immediately I drew something here. You have like I'm going to delete this. You notice this. I want you to take a look at this side. Immediately, it's currently empty. It's just showing me the background here is, and if you want to change it, like most people do, you can change the background to dark or whatever you like. So I'm just going to do that. If you do anything on Figma, it's going to respond. This part is going to respond to whatever is looking at on this screen. So here it's showing you where the position of this rectangle on the canvas is on -1, 1, -9, 20, whatever. You can change it to whatever you want. I want the X to be on 100. I want this to be 200. These are things you can enter yourself. So I'm just using my mouse to go up and down. I know we have that already. And if you notice, I drew the rectangle myself. You can decide to, if you already have the values you're working with, you can decide to enter it here. I mean, if you want, if you really want. This meeting is being recorded. Okay, so you can, I mean, have all of this, and then you have this rotation. So anytime you don't know what a tool is or what a property is on Figma, you should always over on it. It will give you what it means. So you want to keep that habit when you're working. So I mean, so that you won't be asking too much questions like, oh, what do I use it for? When you over on it, it will always bring it out, and then you can use it to rotate stuff. I mean, it's just like the normal basic stuff we have in most design tools. And then you have this corner radius stuff that you can, I mean, make stuff. I need to understand. Okay, you can do all of this, and then there's this stuff here where you can change stuff individually. I mean, if you use this, it changes all of the corner radius. But if you want to go one point at a time, you can decide to change it to whatever you want. As you can see, I'm going to zoom in. As you can see, this is now 0, while these other parts are 24, 24. You can decide to change it for this. I mean, depending on what you want to do on design. So you have all of those class here, all of those properties here. I can decide to change the color. So here, from red to whatever you need to put it. I mean, so you have different options here. You have solid, you have linear. For linear, you can decide to change the color to something else and then increase. I mean, this is, we all, I want to assume we can use some of this big stuff. Like I don't need to go through the details. Right, to change the color. I mean, this is terrible color. Nobody, we don't want to use this color in the design. So I mean, that's how this works. If you want to create a linear, for example, you want to have something like this, and this. Just want to make it, maybe something. I mean, this looks like more of the thing for the Techhaven stuff and the design stuff in the design flyers. I mean, this is not exactly it. But you want to combine colors that make more sense, that blends well together. You can do that, all of that, using stuff like this. You can decide to change how it, from linear to radial. You can do this. I mean, you just need to do a lot of stuff here. Okay, so I'm going to undo this. I'm going to turn this back to a solid color. You can add stroke to stuff here, to add stroke. I'm just going to click this, and then I'm going to increase the stroke to maybe 10. And you can start to make it inside, center, or maybe outside. So depending on what you want, you can do all of that here. Let's say you want more, some of the cool things about Figma also is, for example, you want more strokes here. You can click on this plus button, and anything you see plus, you can always add more stuff here. So for example, I want to add a red stroke. Then I want to give the retro 50% opacity. So these are like two stuff on one layer. And if I want to hide it, I can hide this. I have the black sitting underneath. Okay. So I have the black. So you can layer as many stuff as possible here. And then you have the effect, where you can add drop shadows, you can add inner shadow, layer blur, background blur. You can add all of that here. For example, you want to add like a shadow to this, we have blur, we have this. Of course, there are principles to all of this. When you can't just put any values you want here. There are websites that shows you the right number of shadows to use, and then you can use some mature design stuff like maybe Google or maybe Apple, where they have extensive write-ups about how to use shadows. So you don't want to have shadows that look something like this, that doesn't even look real at all. And then you have a shadow that's like this, and like, why do you have this kind of shadow in your design? This doesn't make any sense. So you want to read samples online and see some of the stuff that they use. Maybe you just want the shadow to be subtle. Again, all of these are based on your design. So based on whatever you put here, you would see different. So I'm going to delete this. These are like the tools. Based on whatever you put here, you will see different options here that you can change. You notice we don't have all of this when we drew the rectangle. Yeah. So this is like basic shape. Basic shape. You have 0, O. You can use this to create maybe an avatar. Right? Maybe you want to show the. Sorry. I mean, this class can be a little bit boring. So I want you to bear with me, and then maybe I want to draw a user. I remember how to draw this thing. Okay, so I was trying to do something, but it's not working. I'm just going to continue. So you have like this, all of these are stuff you can do on here, and then you can add images and whatever. So you just keep clicking on tools. There are some that you will use every now and then. There are some you use every day. This is the text tool. This is the hand tool. You can use the pan on this thing on your canvas, and then you can have comments here, as we will see. So I think I want us to now quickly do this with this basic I mean, now you probably understand what I mean by you can learn any design tool any day. So here we already know how to create a frame. I'm just going to pick like an iPhone. What's that one I pick? I use Earth. So I'm just okay. Yeah, I want to pick something like this. I think this is too big. Kind of. Okay, so I'm going to use this, and then I mean it would be the same thing. So if I want to draw a rectangle, so now I want you to notice something now, right? So when I dragged out that frame, when I clicked on the frame, you notice this icon. This is showing that it's a frame. But when I drew the rectangle, you notice that this is just a rectangle. So you always want to put your stuff in a frame. So if I drag this rectangle inside of here now, you notice that it is now inside of this frame. So inside of this frame, because you have this clip content clipped, every frame comes by default with a clip content checked. So anything you put there, if it's way bigger than it, it's just going to stay off the screen. So so this is going to be like the mobile. The mobile screen where you design. So nobody sees what is outside. I know you understand what I mean. So you always want to have this frame for your design. So I'm just going to have something like this. And then now here you can change the color. So I believe if I do something like this, it makes this, I mean, learning Figma practical because, I mean, we can't just be learning about each of the tools and everything without designing anything. So I really want to try and finish this one as quick as possible and see if I can see maybe 3 volunteers that I can invite on this board and redesign it right on this call. I hope that's possible. I mean, if we can't do that, we'll have that as an assignment to do. Okay, so now that's a frame. Because it's inside a frame, I can expand this one anyhow I want. I can drag this anyhow I want. And then I can decide to change the color here. Right, but like I said, this is wireframing. You don't want to be bothered about the colors and whatnot now. So there's this tool here that I'm going to use. It's called eyedropper tool. I can use to sample this color. So they call it sampling color. I can use to sample this, and then now I have something that looks similar to this, right? So we are done with that. Okay. So now to create this, you need to use the text tool. This is the text tool over here. Okay, so what you see over here, the top is the app bar. It comes by default with your phones, iPhone. If you're using iPhone, it comes by default. So you probably should not create that yourself because there's a lot of time that goes into that. So there's something I want to show you now that is also one cool feature of Figma. So at this point, I've been talking. I don't know if somebody wants to say anything, right? Maybe a question, or if this makes sense or not. I mean, I just want to hear feedback. Okay.
Makes sense. Can go on.
Okay. Cool. All right. So so there's something called plugin.
Sorry. Hello. Sorry. Somebody
Okay.
is trying to ask if you can go over the eyedrop stuff. That is a color picker.
Okay, sorry, I'm not seeing my chat. So thanks for reading that. So I think you should, I mean, someone, if there's a question in chat, so just interrupt me and just read it out. So what I did here was, you see, you have, when I drew the rectangle by default, it came with the color by default. This is the color that came with it. So I can click on this color and then just decide to change it. I can change it to whatever I want. I've walked through all of this before. But sometimes, let's say you already have your design screenshot somewhere. And what we are doing, what we did here is actually called mood boarding. So there's a concept also in design where sometimes you want to design a page and you really don't know what you want to do. So what some designers do, or even most designers do, is they go to like sites where they get a lot of inspiration. Like, I mean, it's not, you are not, okay. I went to browse, Okay, so let's say I need to design a sign-in page, and I don't have inspiration. I really don't know what to do. And then I come to a site like this. I click, I put sign in there. I'm seeing different options. I'm like, okay, I think this works with what I'm trying to work on, or this works with what I'm trying to work on. So if you see anyone that works, you can take it. You can take a screenshot of this, or you can like whatever, copy the image and then put it in your design file. And okay, just going to create a new file here. I click on the plus icon, and then I'm just going to call it mood board. So mood board is like is something like, oh, I have a direction, some sample stuff I'm looking at that I might follow the same pattern to in my own design. And it doesn't necessarily mean, I mean, when you copy this design word for word, it might probably mean you stole their design, but you can probably use some of the colors. Maybe it goes with your own, the brand colors you're using, or the layout, the way stuff are arranged. So you can take some of this and then sample some of that in your design. So it's a legal practice that we do in design. So you can do it in your own work too. So what I did here was I wanted to sample some of this design. But I mean, when you start copying stuff word for word, you copy the way they do their buttons, you copy the way they write their text, you copy the way their colors. I mean, that's now, that's becoming something else. Yeah. So for this one, because I don't know the shades of color of my head, I can just click on this eyedropper stuff. And then I'm going to sample it. And then when you're sampling around stuff, if you notice here, Figma is telling you the color code of the color you are sampling. And okay, this is white, this is FFF. You don't have to know all of these things off your head, right? So I'm just going to do that. So you have this color here. So that's how I came to that. So I quickly want to talk about plugin, because I'm not going to create this 9.41, whatever this bar is. I'm not going to create it myself. So you can use plugins in Figma. So if you have plugins, you have some of them listed here, but you can click on browse plugins in community. If you remember the other time when we were here, you can click on community and just click on plugin here too. Yeah, so I need something for iPhone 13 bar, and I don't know exactly what it's called. Okay, I'm just going to type iPhone 13. Okay, now I don't have any plugin for that, so I have some files. I can look through that, and probably if I see some of the kit that I need, I think there's something similar to here, the status. I have something like that here, so I'm just going to duplicate this file. I mean, like, this is how I work, and I mean, it's not, I mean, it can be very all over the place most times, and this is what I need. I don't have to recreate it, so I'm just going to put this. I just copy it, or you can right click and then copy, and then you can use it in your. You can paste it in your own file. And then you have the status. You notice this, whoever designed this as a frame. So I'm going to try and drag this frame inside of my frame. Now I've dragged it inside of my frame. It's no longer visible because it is not here. So most times if you fall into that situation, you start looking for your stuff and you can't find it. The easy solution is, or the easier solution is, just drag your stuff out and then you see it. And then you can maybe move it around yourself and then bring it in. Yeah. So now I can take this have it. Okay, I think this size is not. If you look at the size of whatever this was designed, it was designed with 375, and then we have this for 390. Of course, this is not. You shouldn't do this, but I'm going to do this because of our time. I'm going to drag this here to fill up that space. But you want to look for something that a size that works for whatever you want with. So we have that already, and then as you can see, I don't have to design that. You really don't need to design most things here. I think somehow this thing looks it's not balanced in my eyes. There's so much space here, and then there's so much space here, but I'm not going to be bothered with that now. I mean, the whole idea is just that we use Figma and why do I spell it here? Okay, so the next thing is the text tool. You have this text tool, and then you can just click anywhere, right? So immediately I click on my canvas. You see a blinking cursor that shows you that there's a text, and then you have the text layer here, and you notice that the properties here is quite different from when I click here. Yeah, so that's what you get with what's the name with different elements that you have. So the text here has so much property. So I'm just going to type search flight, right? So when I'm done, I can't even spell. Okay. So when you're done, you can click away, and then you have you can move around with these. And then if you notice when I'm moving around, if you notice when I'm moving around, there's this red lines that is showing. It's trying to tell you that you can use all of this as an action to see stuff that are centrally aligned. If it's not centrally aligned, it's not going to show you. But this, this are stuff you get to know a lot when you start working every day with Figma. So I'm not even going to bother myself with that one now. Someone is asking how do we get color grading? So here it's still on the same color. Click this. You can use, right? So this is like a color gradient, this linear stuff that I did. Like let's assume I want like a very dark shadow coming from the top. And then here I want, this one is 0 opacity, maybe 40 opacity. Like you can have gradients of different colors, and then I can decide to change to maybe, depending on what you are working with. I don't have the color here. So this is like color gradient for you. You can decide to change where it stops. You can use all of these things to change so many stuff here. Yeah. So that's color gradients.
And that's like expression on the dashboard.
What?
I see someone is asking question at the chat box.
Okay, so we have, yeah. So that's Oge is asking about the color gradient stuff. So that's what I'm trying to show now. So when you click the linear or the radial, or mostly gradient is mostly like linear, and then you change all of that here, and you just configure your gradient color the way you want it, right? And yeah, maybe I want something thicker here. Depends on whatever you want to do. You can do all of that here, right? Yeah, so I hope you got that. Okay, so that's like how to create color gradient. Of course, there are advanced way to create color gradient. You want to learn how to use mixed color properly. Yeah, so I'm just going to go back to solid and go back to sampling. So again, for someone asking about how I sampled stuff, so this how I did that one. And so we are using the text. Now this is the text. Okay, sorry, this is 6:09. We had this class by 7, so we have 15 minutes left. Okay, so I've shown you how to use plugins because you don't have to recreate everything yourself. It's very, very, very important that you use that. So there's something happening now. I'm trying to select this text, but there's something on the top that is blocking me. I can't access whatever is down. So that's why you want to be working with your layers very well. So this guy is sitting at the top, is blocking the text below. So, and I need this search text. I want to be able to select it. So I can quickly drag and move it to the top. So now that is at the top, I can easily access it. So you might run into that kind of stuff here. Look at the structure on your layers, like this, like the layers panel, and then rearrange stuff. So with the text now, you can see different properties of the text. It's telling you that it is on 143 here. You have Y. The Y position is 63. The width of the text is this. The height of the text is this. Blah blah blah. All of it. You have the constraint. I'll show you what constraint means also. And then you have all of these properties, and your text properties are also here, the color, the stroke, and everything here. So when you click this, you can decide to, like, see the way I'm dragging stuff. You can drag stuff down. Okay, I want this to be 100. If you have it, you can type it here. And because I'm working in a frame, the 100 is relative to the frame. So this is like the frame I'm working with. This 100 that is here is relative. If you look at this blue button, it's showing that it is from, if you measure here to here, that is 100. So if I say here, I want this this stuff to start from like the 40th position based on the frame, you can just type that there, right? So you can enter stuff manually, you can try to drag stuff, you can try to drag stuff here on the left and right. So it all depends on how you want to configure stuff. But here, I'm just going to align it to the middle. If you look at some properties at the top, you have the align to left, align horizontal, align to the right, align top, this and that. So I'm just going to align this to the center, just as we have here on the design. And then you notice it is also in uppercase. You have some properties that you can also set on your text. So here I'm using Inter. I don't know the type of font that they have here, but you can select multiple fonts. You have tons of fonts that come by default in Figma. And then even if you don't have the font you want to use on Figma, you can install it and it's going to work. When you install that font on your system, shut down Figma and restart it, you see that font loaded here. Because I've seen people have issues with, oh, how do I can't see the font I want to work with here. Just go and install it. And so I can use any font I want to. So I'm just going to stick with the Inter that's here. Okay, and then you can start to change all of this to whatever stuff you want to change it to. And then you can increase, decrease, increase stuff, decrease stuff. And then this is like the line height. So, I mean, when you're studying about how to use color, typography, text effectively, and stuff you also need to be looking at is how to the line height, letter spacing, and alignment and all of these things. Yeah. So if you have, let me quickly talk about that. If you have like multiple text, so I'm just going to try to do this way. If you have like a multiple text here, you can see everything is aligned in the middle. You can align them to the left. You can align all of them to the right, and you can increase okay. We don't have a paragraph here yet. You can increase the line height here. You can give it more breathing room here. But I think from part of like a research I did in the past, you want to make when you have multiple text like this, you want to make sure you are multiplying your original text size with 1.5. I mean, that should be like the minimum. So there's breathing space. Of course, you shouldn't take this as like the rule. You can always readjust stuff till you think this is comfortable for the eyes of whoever is reading this. And then also, as designers, you also want to test it people to see if they can read it. If they can't read it, and if you look at the text now, it looks like molded together. You can, I can try to change this to like maybe 1, just to add more spacing. I mean, like this look very ugly right now, but I'm just trying to show you a lot of stuff that you can do here. So I'm just going to put this back at 0, put it back at 0, and change it back to search flight that I'm working with. Now I'm going to return this to the center, and then I'm going to, what is going on here? Okay, I'm going to return this to this. Okay, I'm going to add line height times 1.5. And you measure have to use 1.5. If you make your research, if this is something better, you can do that. And so now this is here. And then there's this, when you see stuff like this, it means that there are other settings that you should look at. I can underline stuff here. I can do all of this. I mean, please just go through this. So I need to be very fast now. And then our stuff is all capped. So I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to reduce the font from 617 to maybe 12. And then I'm going to make it bold. And then I'm going to remove the underline. Okay, I mean no underline. And then I'm going to take it back here. So I'm just doing that manually. Maybe I should bump up the size a little bit. Yeah, so we have something like this. Okay, so now to create this one, you can use the any of the two here. You can use the same rectangle. So I come here, I just randomly drag the rectangle here. I don't know what size is. I'm just going to work with any size anyway. So when you click on this rectangle, you can click. You see this corner radius. You can try to make it corner. Look at the way I'm doing it, like just to make it look this way. Again, like I said, it's because I've worked with Figma multiple times. That's why I know that, oh, if I distort this one, it will change it. So it's the more you use it, the more you can see, the more you see that you can use one small shape to do all of your UI. Yeah, that's just the trick. So I'm just going to put this one, I'm going to give it 50, and then I'm going to reduce this a bit. I'm going to bring it here. Again, I'm going to try to sample this color, and then I have this. Maybe I should increase it a bit. Okay. So because I need, okay, I think at this point I should probably use the opportunity to quickly introduce us to what we call component design system. I mean, I'm just going to briefly talk about it. So now this is our rectangle here. Mostly I love to name my layers, because when you have too many stuff on the layers, you get confused and you don't know where things are. So I'm just going to call this button background or BG, whatever you want to use. So I know, okay, this is button background. And then I need to write a text here. I can try to duplicate this text. If I can right click and reuse this text, copy, and then paste. So you can use normal Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V. So I have the copy and paste here. I can bring it here. You notice it's at the back of this stuff. So you should always note your layers. This should be at the top. So now that it's at the top, you see it here. I mean, yeah, so then I'm going to try to change the color. So for the text, you can change the color here. And then I'm going to rename it to round trip. You notice that, okay, that's that about. I don't notice anything. Okay, I'm going to reduce the size to 12. And then, so this is here and this is here, but I want to align them together. I want this round trip to be in the middle. I'll click this and I'll click this. So you know that now I've selected two stuff. I can align them using this stuff at the top. I can align, and then if you look at this properties panel, it's showing me more stuff. Now there's this selection color that is showing me both the color of the button and then the color of the text together. So I have the two properties here. I have stuff relating to text here too also. I have this restraint stuff. I have auto layout, which we will probably touch in, I mean, or maybe you can read about that. And then, so if I click on this stuff, this align horizontal center is going to bring my text to the middle, and then I can align it vertically. So this is properly aligned. And then I'm going to right click, and then I'm going to group this selection. So there's a shortcut. If you don't want to be doing right clicking and all of this every time, just like other design tools, we have all of them there. You can Ctrl G, and then you have this. So I have this here. I'm going to, so there are different ways to do this. I'm going to show you one way. So if I duplicate this, where's duplicate here, please? Okay, I can't say duplicate. So you can use Ctrl D. We have Ctrl D in Figma that duplicates stuff by default. So this duplicate is here. I'm just going to drag it here. And then, because this is a group, I can try to change the color of one of these without even clicking on the, I can try to change the color of this to this, And then while I change the color of this to something else. So like I said, let me just quickly rush through this so that I'm going to change the color of this. So this is this, and then I'm going to change the text to one way. So because I'm not really sure if we in the future, like because we are supposed to touch something on design system, maybe I should quickly show you what my work is as I do like my normal day-to-day job. Maybe I should use this concept to do that. So now you are a designer, you have another designer, you are like 5 designers, and then somebody came, you hire one designer, he created this, and then the other designer was, I would like to be professional enough to say, okay, let me go and look at how this guy created this his own round trip button, and then he created this button using your own specification, the width and all of this thing. But let's say your design team is now going to like maybe 15, 20, 30, and then people are just coming, and then you see somebody create button like this. It's not even rounded. You just put this, and then this is in your product. I'm just trying to create different samples, and then you have something like this. And then before you know it, you have like a lot of inconsistencies. Like, okay, somebody else is doing something like this. Try to make it maybe like 100. And you see, it looks a bit the same. I just want to try and create multiple stuff to see the disadvantage of what I'm talking about. And then so in your product, you now have like buttons like these, and then you have buttons like this. Like, so now you have this without border radius, you have this with 10 border radius, you have this, and all of these are in your product. You don't want to allow all of this to happen. So what we do is we create, for example, this now, we create it as a component. So this is, so now I've created the round trip and then the background. I'm going to call it button. So I call this button. So this is the button that we want to be using, and this is the color we want to be using. I'm going to create a component because this is a group. If I click this icon at the top, it's now a component. If you notice the color of the component changes, it's looking like this. This is a component. So this component can be reused anywhere in this design. So mostly your component will live in your assets. So you have like a different page where your component will live. So I can maybe take this component now, take this one now, and just call this component. Maybe these are the components that I have page, and then drop it here. So these are our button component, and then whoever is going to use it, the beauty of Figma is that whoever is going to use this component in the future and is using Figma, yes, he can click on this asset panel, and he will see this component that has been created by maybe the first designer that came, and then he can use this same design, this button in his own file. So with this stuff now, I'll just come to assets. I don't have it in my file anymore. I can drag it, and I have an instance of that. I have an instance of that component. If you see the difference is clear here. You have this rectangle without any space, and then if you go to the components page itself, you see that it's different. So what you mean is that this is the original one. This one that is here is just a clone of whatever is here. I'm going to show you an example now. If I decide to change this from this color to this red, you know that I have not gone to my other page. If you go here, this has changed because I have decided to change the component, the component color. So it's going to affect all of the instances. Yeah. So that's like this is the concept of design system. So whereby you create something once, and whoever designers you have on your team will only use what you have in your design system, so that you want to create consistent UI. You want to create things that are consistent all over your product. So most companies do that. You have Google. If I open up, what's the name now? Google. If you open Google Material UI, that's what they do. And where they have all of the buttons, all of their components, their elements, everything has been defined. For example, where's okay, I'm trying to look for the components, they don't have it here. So they have all of this design. So that when you buy a new Android phone, you don't see a completely different design from the one A is using and B is using, because they use almost the same stuff. So if you look at their buttons now, the way it is designed, this is it. If you want to use outline, this is how you use outline. If you want to use a text button, so they've designed all of this. They have a Figma library for it. So all you just need to do is copy and paste it, and maybe you want to change the color and use it in your own design file. Yeah, so that's that about that. I'll change this color back to what it was before, and then I'm just going to rush through the whole thing. So we have this. So in a way, I know it's probably too, I mean, the time we spend on that is very small. That's like design system, like the basics of design system. That's how it starts. And that's the smallest part of it. So I'm going to, sorry, someone needs to unmute. Okay. Yeah, so I'm going to group these two together, right? Now it's grouped. I'm going to align it to the middle again. So we have this, and then I'm going to try to create all of these. These are all text. As you can see, I've not used any serious tools here. It's just basic shape and text, which is most likely what we'll be working with. And then so this, because this part configured to use uppercase already. So whatever new text I'm creating, we take that from. So, but I don't need this for this. I'm going to change it away from that. Okay. I'm going to change it back to this, and then I'm going to try to draw. I'm going to use the same thing to create this. Select a city, right? So I'm going to increase this, and I'm going to draw this. Okay, so I need to draw a line. So we have a line here. We have a line here. And then we have, I want to draw a V shape. I can decide to draw this using this pen too. So I'm just going to like draw this out, all right? And then I'm holding Shift on my laptop to give me a straight line. So you have like this, drop down stuff. But if you don't want to create this yourself, I mean, I did that deliberately because I wanted to show you that you can draw stuff yourself, and you can start to change the width and all of that here. I tried to, I clicked, if you notice, I clicked on this stuff because I want the proportion to be constrained. So when I'm changing the width, I want the height to change together. But if you remove it and I just change the width, it's going to look very ugly because the width is not changing, but the height is not changing. So if I want to do the two together, I click on the constraint, and then I'm going to, like, everything's going to move together. But again, you should not do this if you don't have the time. You have plugins that you can use for stuff like that. So I'm just going to browse plugin. I already showed us how to get plugins and other design file. I need material, Google material icons. I can get them from there. So there's a plugin called Google material. I'm just going to call it material icon. So we have this material designer icon. I can install it. You can see a lot of people are using it already 668 installed. You don't have to create so many things on your own again. So now that I have it installed, I can go to my plugins and I can click on this material design icon. And I'm looking for a drop down. Okay, I don't have the drop down here. Okay, so I can use this, or you have multiple ones here that you can use. I mean, all of this, you don't have to be creating it yourself because you want to save a lot of time. Okay, so I'm just going to try to quickly find. Okay, so I thought I was going to do this right on the call so everyone sees how it's done. I really have to find a who. So I can't find this, so I'm just going to use anyone. Okay, so it's here. So you have something like this, keyboard arrow drop down. So I'm just going to drag, take this and put it in my view. I'm going to reduce it to 24 or change it to something small. And then I have this already, which I really don't need to design. And then, okay. I know this is like a little bit thicker, but I don't want to do that. So I'm just going to group all of this stuff together. So I highlighted all of this. I took this. I hold my shift keyboard together. I took this. And then I took this. I took this. I'm holding my shift keyboard together, and I took this. I took this. And then I'm going to Control G to group them together. So I have this now as a single group, right? Oh, now this line is missing. So I'm going to ungroup. I can just drag over this. I can drag over this one. Now it's selecting multiple stuff. It's selecting everything on this frame, but I don't need to select everything on this frame. I just need 1, 2, 3, 4. I can, while holding the shift, I can click on something I don't want, and it's going to okay, so when you're working with this, you learn more about all of these things, trust me. So I'm just going to Ctrl G, group this stuff together, and then I'm going to duplicate this. Duplicate, you can use copy and paste, you can use Ctrl D, right? There are a lot of shortcuts here. So I have this, and then I'm going to rename this. Okay. I think this is way time consuming than I thought. Okay, so I'm going to try to align this, and then we have 16 pixels in between. And then I know you get what I mean. So I'm not going to try to create this last departure and return. Then if you like, you can decide to rename this. So let me call this to. And then I'm going to leave the third one that way. So I move to the next one. So here, I can easily reuse this guy. I can reuse this one. I can use this rectangle shape. What I did here was just duplicate Control D. I used Control D or Command D, and then I'm still going to you know, sample this out. Maybe I take this, and I'm going to write one adult. I mean, I just wanted to do this to show you the concept that it's actually some basic shape you need. Like when you know how to use some of this basic shape, you can do I mean, UX design. Like it's not really a big deal. Just imagine you are now doing this in a different design tool, right? It's just the the text tool and whatever tool you need. You don't have to learn too much stuff just to get the design done. And so you have this, and then again, I can use my plugin to get the plus icon because I'm too lazy to create that myself. So we have the plus icon. I'm just going to do add. So I don't know where it's adding this. So add the add icon. Can't find what I'm clicking on. Okay, so this is add icon. I can decide to change it to 24 again. I mean, I'm saving a lot of time with all of these things. So you have this here, and then I can also reuse, like I'm going to remove this one. I can also reuse some of this button here. I'm going to increase the width. I don't want the, okay, I can change it to search right. I don't need it to be cap lock. I'm going to take that off. I'm going to make sure it's aligned in the middle. I don't need we don't have in the design here, we don't have the fill color. So I can take off, I can decided to take off the fill color and then add the stroke, just as we have here. And if you want to make it more thicker, you can use 1.5, you can use 3, you can have all of that here, depending on what you want to do, right? So, I mean, we've gone past time. I don't want to go through everything. So I'm just going to leave this here. And this is going to be part of our assignment. So, but I want to try and to have 1 or 2 people here. Maybe you can, that's those that have a Figma account already. I mean, because of our time, I don't need you to sign up again. I need you to come to this board and maybe create this tourist class or business class somewhere here. And just to show that we can collaborate on Figma, which is one of the most powerful features of the application. So is there any volunteer? If you want to volunteer, you can have your email, drop it on the chat, and then I'm going to quickly add you here. Okay, so I'm going to share it with Oluwatimi. So we have share. So to share stuff, I'm just going to click on share, and then I'm going to paste their email here. So you can select different options. You can say that you just want this person to view. For example, if you are sending it to maybe a developer and you don't want the developer to just delete your file and just go, you want to give them view access only. You don't want to give them edit access, but because Timline is going to work on it, I'm going to give him an edit access. So I click on send invite. So he should see it. Send invite. Oh, okay, draft can only be edited by others. So let them move this to a project. Okay. Okay, so I'm just going to move it on the project. I just moved it on the project now. So I've invited you. Let me see if I can invite 2 more people. I've invited Ngozi also. And then the last person is Oge. I'm going to try to invite Oge. So you should be able to. So you guys should have an invite in your email. I added. Okay, so that's that about that. So I mean, that's just the old concept, and let me try and see if we can do just the upper part of this. Please. Okay, so do you have the invite? Hello? Okay. Yeah, I mean, I would like to see you guys on the board if that's possible. Oh, trying to log in. Okay, someone is trying to log in. Okay, so while you are that, I'm just going to duplicate this. Again, I just did Control D, and then I just want to make it look similar to something like this. So I'm going to go to the rectangle. I'm going to use the gradient, and then I'm going to try to sample some of this color right here. I'm going to do the same thing for here. I mean, the whole concept is, of course, we can't complete a design right on this call, but I just wanted you guys to see how easy, well, I shouldn't use the word easy, how you can start using Figma to do most of your designs. You don't have to have everything yourself. You can look up stuff on Dribble. You can look at a lot of resources for inspiration. I mean, it's not really, it's not, how would I call it now? It's not something, yeah, so we have Timle on the board. You can see him here already, and I'm here. So you can have multiple people working on the same file and making design. So design is not just all about just one person. And so I want to try to change this to white. I can come here and change all of this to white. I do the same for this. Okay. So okay, so now this is not this exactly the same as we had before, because there's like a map at the bottom where I can go drag a map inside and put here. I mean, but we don't want to do that because of our time. I mean, so this is basically how you get started with Figma. I mean, for people that are on this call, you already know the basics of Figma. Trust me, you already know the basics of Figma. Timileyin, while you're here, I hope, yeah, he's already started. I didn't have this. Timileyin added this, and I mean, he's already working on something, right? Yeah, that makes sense. Timileyin is now appearing twice now. That is using, he has 2 laptops. I don't know. Okay, so one thing I also want to quickly touch on is this prototyping part, where you can connect multiple screens together. So I'm just going to use this same screen. I'm going to duplicate this. I'm going to do it as though when you click on this screen, you should have this bigger, this wide, this whatever screen. You should have this. So you can say when the person click on one thing, it should go to the second screen. So to do that, you can use this node that is here. You drag it here. And then you can set the properties on tap or on drag while hovering, whatever. When you tap this button, I want you to go to this place. And when you tap this other button, I want you to go back to this place. Trust me, this is prototyping. It's my favorite part of design because it's always very interesting. You've done all the UI, you've done all the beautiful stuff. Now you just want to show it to people that when I click on this, this should happen. When I click on this, this should happen. So I'm going to click on this play here. And then you see Figma will try to play the prototype for you. And then we can set different options. So now, this is very weird. Why? Because we are using a different, what's it called? A different screen size for the prototype. So I'll see if I can change, if there's a way I can change the device. Okay, now this is, okay, so now it's using, okay, I think maybe I can change it to Pro. If I change the device to Pro, yeah, so now, as you can see, this fits more perfectly now, because you're doing all of the design in an iPhone frame. So when you're prototyping, Figma will help you have that screen device, and then you can show your users that, okay, when you click this round trip, you should go here. When I click this, you should come back to this place. Like that's like the basis of prototyping. Like I can't, because of our time, I can't show more stuff. And then the last thing I also wanted to talk about is this part where you have the inspect element. So for example, you want to tell your developer that, okay, when you are coding this part, this button has a width of this, a height of this. This button has, why is it not showing me everything? Corner radius, it's not there. Okay, the reason why it's not showing that is because we have a button background here. So you have to click on the button background here and say, okay, my developer, this has a button radius of 50 pixels, so you can use that in your file. I'm using a background of white color, and then the text color, I'm using this color. You can copy it, or I mean, the developer can copy it. You don't have to copy it to them. They will copy it and see some of your the font family you are using Inter here. They can install Inter on their developer workspace. They see the font weight you are using, the font size you are using, the line height you are using, and then they can use some of the information here in their code. And so that way you are helping your developer one way or the other on your designs. And any questions they have, you can YouTube. I mean, if you don't really have answers to everything, you can always quickly come here and check it out for them. Like, okay,
Okay, yeah. When you start sharing the same, please, where do you go to? So, like me, I was trying to find where to check my invite.
You should get it in your email. So
I didn't get it.
Is either the email is not correct, because
it's correct. It's automatic.
I got mine in my email too. By the time I logged into Figma, I was unable to access how to join the
no, your email didn't come to me. I didn't see it. I've checked several, like over and over and over.
Okay, can you see my screen? Is this correct? NGOZIA.
Yes, it's correct. I got your invite on my mail, and then when I logged onto Figma,
yeah,
and then it's the welcome page, the community, and all. I didn't know where to go to see your own invites. Don't know if you understand what I mean.
Okay, I think that's a bit strange.
I didn't get any. I didn't get your email.
Okay, so someone didn't get the email. So maybe it's not my problem. Maybe it's Figma's problem. So, but I think Timlane got the email. So Timlane, do you want to quickly unmute and explain how you got here?
Yeah, thank you.
Timlane is busy designing.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right. So when I got the mail, I just opened it and followed the link. It's supposed to automatically take you to your browser.
It's supposed to
And
automatically.
from there, take you to your Figma desktop app if you have one.
Okay.
That's just all.
Yeah. So I expected the same thing too. So I don't know. Maybe it's. Are you on your laptop or are you on the system? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll leave that for now. So
okay, Mr. Kenny, what about you were talking about is it something constraint or components or something?
Yeah.
Then I asked of a ruler. I asked for ruler. Where is the point where you use ruler on the app? You don't use ruler on apps?
Okay, so it depends. Like I mean, you can click on one of these. I think. Okay, I think I know the shortcut, Control R or whatever, to bring out the ruler. So sometimes it depends on how you work. I don't work with rulers most times, but I know designers that work with rulers a lot. So I'm trying to look for it for people that don't know what that is. but I can't find it right now. So
You go to file, edit, something like that.
Okay, it's not
File,
here.
file.
Yeah, so we have it here. Well, it's not here.
Sorry, where did I go to now? I was there. I did it myself. I forgot.
Okay, I mean, so you can always, okay, yeah, so we have it here. We have the view. So
Okay, view.
yeah, with these rulers, you can use it like as a guide for something like, okay, I want this stuff to be, if you look at the top, let's say this is 90. So I ideally, because this X position is starting from 909, so I can say plus 90 plus this is plus this is 30. So I don't want, I can use this place as my gutter, like, okay, I want this stuff to start from here, maybe this, I want it to start from here. So those are the things they use ruler for, but sometimes I'm always working with dimensions that I already know. So maybe, for example, I don't want, sometimes I can just do, okay, I want 30 pixels here. I call this 30 pixels. So nothing should pass this place. I mean, I shouldn't have anything pass. Oh, I mean, this is becoming weird. So like rulers is not compulsory to use rulers, but if you work with rulers, it's fine. If you don't work with rulers, like you can, if you already know your dimensions or you already know where you want to place stuff, you can use that also, right? So most times you won't see rulers on my own design file, really. So are there any questions? Okay.
The constraint, the component.
Oh yeah. So like I said, the component is so that you don't recreate stuff. You know that we created this as a component. So if you want to use this again, all I need to do is I'm just going to copy. If I copy this one and then I paste it here, I mean, you have this. Sorry, this is the original component. You have this. So the difference between a component and an instance is this component shows this icon here. The instance is this one, is very empty. So this one is like a child of this. So, but you can change whatever you have here to different colors. So you can say, okay, I want to change the instance to red. And then I can change the text that, okay, this is delete. You will notice that it did not change this main component. I didn't touch it. I'm only changing the instance because this is an instance, right? But if I have this here and I decide to go and change the parent, this is like the mother. I decided to change the parent and change it to something different. It's going to affect this one automatically. But if you change anything on the child component, the instance alone, this is an instance. If you change on the instance, it doesn't affect the top. So it's like you can only, it's like a top-down approach. It's not like a bottom-up approach. I don't know how to. It's a very simple concept, but it's because we just put everything together in these 2 hours. I mean, because we can't just go over the whole of Figma, design tools, and everything in 2 hours. It's very difficult. I just want to try as much as possible to touch all of the concepts that we have that you can use Figma for. You can use it for design, you can use it for prototyping, you can use it to send stuff to developers, you can use it to create components. That's the basis of design system. You can use it to create a mood board. You can use basic shape to design, create a design or wireframe. I mean, that was way too much. So I really don't expect you to get everything all at once. You have to like take it in bite size, please. Okay. Any other questions? Because I think we need to end. We have 4 more minutes.
I have a question.
Okay, can you please go?
Yeah, my question is about the material.io, like how you brought it into Figma, like to have all the loop and the icon.
Icons. Okay. So the way I did it is I went to this community part and then I clicked on, I typed material icons. It's because I've worked with this before and I know it. If I didn't know what this is all about, I would just go to Google and say material icon. I'll just do material icons for Figma. I'm just going to do this. I'm going to do it this way for Figma. And then Figma is going to give me point me to a lot of resources, and I'm going to click on the first one. And when I click on this, it's going to take me to this. You get, so it's showing that I've already installed it. But for you, if you are just doing it, it will tell you to install it. So when you install it, you can go to your Figma and then you see there. But because I already know the name, so that's why I just came to the community and I typed it there, and then it showed me this.
Oh, all right. Thank you very much.
Okay. Okay, I think that will be all. So I'm just going to go to the take-home assignment. I hope. So there's this thing, there's this site that on the first call we had that's called Class4. It's a product from Mr. Imole, Oluyemi himself. Right? I just called his full name now. That's because I know his full name. Okay, so he's working on this product, and I think it's currently free for people that are writing jam. So if you have people that are writing jam, tell them to go and download it and use for free on their mobile apps. So what I would want us to do is we should download this UI, this app on our Google Play Store, and then try to design. Okay, this is what I have. So I'm like, download the Class4 mobile app on Google Play Store. So take a screenshot of like minimum 2 screens, maybe the sign-in, login, or maybe the home page or the dashboard or whatever page that you feel comfortable that you can do, and then try and create it on Figma. You can have some interactivity. When I mean by interactivity is like when you click on maybe sign in, it should take you inside. Or if you click on sign up, it should take you like a sign up page where you enter your details, your name, password, and everything. And yeah, so that's going to be the assignment. It doesn't have to be perfect. It can be. I mean, look at what I did now. It's not really. It's not perfect, right? It doesn't have to be perfect, but I just need you to start using all of these basic tools. Start practicing with it. Start positioning stuff. Start looking at the colors. Take a screenshot. Sample the screenshots, and I mean, that's basically what the assignment is all about. Okay. I think I'm going to stop sharing at this point. That was a long session, and yeah, trust me, it's a bit overwhelming and a little bit too much, but you need to take your time. Okay, your hand is still up. Okay, do you still have questions?
Well, not really. I think it's okay, but I think I forgot one question. The area where you were talking about if you needed the programmers, you were talking about the breadth and width of the whatever, what's it called?
Yeah,
CSS or
yeah,
code or something.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't get that point where you were talking about.
Because most times you need to tell designers about your design properties on your design. For example, you know that the colors we use now, the developer they don't know the color, right? So, hello, can you hear me? So there has to be a way.
I can hear you, sir.
Yeah, there has to be a way you need to communicate to them that this is the color I used. And you too, as a designer, you don't know all of those colors and like the X code or the RGB value. You don't need to know it often. You can just point them to that inspect element and say, because the developers will need it in their code base. Or for a text, I need to use the hash FFFFF8. They will just copy it from that place and use it in their design, and you are not stressed. Nobody is calling you that, hey, okay, I don't understand what you did there. You just go to that place and they will see everything there.
All right, sir.
Yeah. Okay. I know it's a little bit, except for people that have been designing already. People that have been designing already might not really find this too difficult, but if you are very new to design altogether, it's very design too, you might find it a little bit overwhelming. So just take it one step at a time. If you can watch the recording again, just to know the concept yourself at your own pace, I'll advise that, yeah. So thank you so much for joining this session. I'm looking forward to seeing you next week. Bye. I'm going to end the recording.
Yeah,
now.
thank you, sir. Bye. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, bye. Thank you, Kenny.
Thank you.